presented by Soundlibra.com. Explore more titles via the link in the description or at Soundlibra.com. Welcome to Parent with Purpose. This series explores raising children with intention and joy.
It's so easy to feel adrift in the often overwhelming world of parenting, isn't it, Alex? Real quick before we start, we should mention that while we're sharing heartfelt strategies, we aren't medical or mental health professionals, so please consult a specialist for specific advice.
That's an important point. We're here to talk about the big picture, like navigating a ship. If there's no anchor, no fixed point, the ship just drifts wherever the currents and winds take it. It's uncontrolled, unpredictable, and frankly, exhausting. Parenting can feel that way. We might find ourselves making decisions out of habit, out of desperation, or just because it's what everyone else seems to be doing. But when you have a clear understanding of your core values, they act as that anchor. They provide direction and stability, even when the seas get rough.
So, when we talk about deep values, what are we really getting at? Are we talking about things like being nice or responsible?
Those are good starting points, but let's go a little deeper. Your deep values are the fundamental beliefs that guide your life. They're the principles you hold most dear, the things that define who you are and what you stand for. For parents, these values become the guiding principles for how you want to raise your children and the kind of family you want to build. They're the core of your parenting philosophy, even if you haven't articulated them yet.
I see. It's not just about the surface level behaviors, but the underlying beliefs that inform those behaviors. And I imagine these values aren't always obvious. Sometimes we have to really dig to uncover them.
Absolutely. For today, though, let's focus on why identifying these values is so critically important. First and foremost, it provides clarity. When you know what truly matters to you, whether it's integrity, kindness, courage, curiosity, or connection, you have a clear framework for making decisions. This is incredibly powerful when you're faced with those tough parenting choices, like how to handle a conflict between siblings, what kind of extracurricular activities to pursue, or even how to manage screen time.
Instead of feeling paralyzed by the options, a clear value acts like a compass, pointing you toward the decision that aligns best with who you want to be as a parent and the kind of person you want your child to become.
Precisely. And this clarity extends beyond just decision-making. It helps you build consistency. When your parenting actions are rooted in your core values, you're less likely to be swayed by external pressures or fleeting trends. Your child begins to understand what you stand for, and that predictability builds trust and security. They learn that your responses are based on fundamental principles, not just random reactions.
That makes so much sense. Children thrive on consistency. If our parenting is consistent because it's value-driven, they know what to expect, and that can be incredibly grounding for them. It also helps us, as parents, feel more confident in our choices. It's hard to feel like you're doing a good job when you're constantly second-guessing yourself.
Exactly. And this leads to another crucial benefit, building a stronger connection with your children. When you're intentionally parenting based on your values, you're not just managing behavior, you're actively shaping character. You're teaching them what you believe is important in life. This deeper engagement creates a more meaningful relationship, one that goes beyond the day-to-day tasks of child rearing. It becomes about nurturing their whole selves, aligned with the principles you cherish.
So it's about raising children who don't just behave, but who embody those values because they've seen them lived out and understood them. It sounds like it shifts the focus from simply following rules to understanding the why behind them.
That's a perfect way to put it, Lisa. The why becomes paramount. And when parents and children are aligned on these underlying whys, it fosters a shared sense of purpose within the family. It moves us away from a power struggle and towards collaboration. When children understand your values, they're more likely to internalize them and to contribute to a family culture that reflects those values.
I can see how this would feel incredibly fulfilling for parents, too. Instead of just going through the motions, you're actively creating something meaningful. It adds a sense of purpose to the often mundane, everyday moments of family life. You're not just surviving parenthood, you're thriving.
That's the goal, isn't it? To move from feeling overwhelmed and reactive to being intentional and purposeful. Your core values are the starting point for this transformation. They're the anchor that keeps you steady, the compass that guides you, and the foundation for a strong, connected, and meaningful family life. We'll be dedicating future episodes to helping you uncover these values, craft your parenting philosophy, and weave them into every aspect of your family's life.
It's a journey for sure, but one that's absolutely worth embarking on. Understanding and living by your deep values will truly transform your parenting experience.
So, to recap briefly, in this episode, we've established that deep values act as an anchor in the often stormy seas of parenting. They provide much needed clarity, foster consistency, help build stronger connections with our children, and ultimately, give our parenting a profound sense of purpose. Thanks for listening. Next episode, Unearthing Your Core, Tools for Identifying Your Parenting Values. Welcome back. Last time, we explored why having deep-rooted parenting values acts as your anchor. Now, let's find those core values.
That's right, Alex. Last week we talked about the why, the importance of having these guiding principles. This week is all about the how to. It's about unearthing what truly matters to you as a parent, not just what you think should matter.
Exactly, Lisa. And this process can feel a little like detective work. We're looking for clues within ourselves, our experiences, and our aspirations for our children. The goal is to move beyond surface level ideas to identify those bedrock values that will inform all your parenting decisions.
So, Alex, where do we begin this unearthing process? What are some of the tools you recommend?
A fantastic starting point is reflection on your own childhood. Think back to your parents. What did they do that you admired? What did they do that you thought, I'll never do that when I'm a parent? These are huge clues. Were there times you felt deeply seen and understood? Or times you wished for more of that?
That's a great point. So, when I think about my own upbringing, I remember my parents always encouraged me to try new things, even if I might fail. That really sparked a sense of independence in me. So, perhaps independence or courage to try is a value I'd want to foster.
Precisely. You're already unearthing something. And with that courage to try, what feeling did that leave you with? Was it a feeling of being supported, or perhaps a feeling of being empowered? These nuances can help refine your values.
It felt empowering, like I had agency. So, maybe empowerment and courage to try are connected values. These aren't just abstract words, they represent feelings and experiences.
Spot on. Another powerful tool is to consider your child's future. When you picture your child as an adult, what qualities do you hope they embody? What kind of person do you want them to be in the world? Do you hope they're kind, resilient, creative, honest?
That's a really hopeful exercise. I picture my children being thoughtful, making connections with others, and having a strong sense of integrity. So maybe empathy, connection, and integrity are key for me.
Wonderful. And these are distinct, yet often interconnected, values. Now, here's a crucial step. Distinguishing between your own deeply held beliefs and societal expectations. We're bombarded with messages about what constitutes good parenting or successful children. We need to filter those.
That's a challenge. It's easy to get caught up in what other parents are doing or what we see on social media. How do we do that filtering?
Ask yourself, does this value truly resonate with my gut feeling, or is it something I feel pressured to adopt? Imagine you had unlimited resources and no judgment from others. What would your parenting look like then? What would be most important to you? This can strip away external noise.
So it's about tuning into that inner voice. If I feel a strong sense of conviction about a particular trait I want for my child, even if it's not the trendiest, that's likely a core value for me.
Exactly. Another technique is to think about moments of pride in your parenting. What have you felt most proud of yourself as a parent? What were you doing? What values were you embodying in those moments?
Oh, that's interesting. I remember a time my son was struggling with a difficult situation, and instead of jumping in to rescue him, I sat with him, listened, and helped him find his own solution. I felt proud because I was modeling problem solving and building his confidence. So, problem solving and confidence building might be values.
See, you're identifying actionable principles. Instead of just saying, I want my child to be successful, you're realizing that fostering their problem-solving skills and building their confidence are concrete ways to help them achieve that.
This is starting to make so much sense. It's not just about picking words from a list. It's about understanding the feeling and the behavior behind the word.
Absolutely. And sometimes these values can be grouped. For example, honesty, trustworthiness, and integrity are all related. You might identify them separately at first, and then realize they all fall under a broader umbrella of ethical conduct.
So, we can have a few foundational values and then perhaps some supporting values that are more specific applications.
Precisely. Think of it like this. If kindness is a foundational value, then empathy, compassion, and respect are specific ways that kindness shows up in your parenting.
Let's recap for our listeners. We've talked about using reflection on your own childhood, envisioning your child's future, filtering out societal pressures by tuning into your gut feeling, and recognizing moments of parenting pride. These are all great starting points.
And remember, this isn't a one-time task. Your values might evolve. But by identifying your core parenting values today, you're building a strong foundation for making decisions that align with what truly matters most to you and your family. This journey of unearthing your core values is about creating a compass that will guide you, no matter what challenges come your way.
It really is. By understanding your values, you begin to shape a parenting philosophy that is authentic and deeply meaningful.
Next episode, we'll take these unearthed values and craft them into your personal parenting philosophy. Welcome back. Last time, we dove deep into unearthing your core parenting values.
And that was such a powerful exercise, Alex. But now that we have these core values, how do we actually use them? How do we make them actionable?
That's the perfect transition, Lisa. Today, we're talking about crafting your personal parenting philosophy. Think of it as your family's compass. This philosophy will guide your decisions, big and small, when it comes to raising your children.
A compass. I like that. So, our core values are the individual points on the compass north, south, east, west, and our philosophy is the needle that always points us in the right direction?
Exactly. And the beautiful thing is there's no single right way to have a parenting philosophy. It's deeply personal. It's about distilling those core values you identified into a concise statement that truly reflects your unique approach to parenting. What you discovered last time were the building blocks: honesty, kindness, resilience, creativity, whatever they might be. Now we're putting those blocks together to build something that guides you.
So, if my core values were something like kindness, curiosity, and courage, how do I translate that into a philosophy? It feels a little abstract.
Great question. Let's break it down. We want to move from a list of values to a statement that explains how you intend to live out those values as a parent. It's about describing the kind of parent you want to be and the kind of environment you want to create.
Okay, I'm following. So, it's not just listing the words, but explaining the intention behind them.
Precisely. For example, if kindness is a core value, your philosophy might articulate that you aim to foster a home where empathy and compassion are practiced daily. You're not just saying be kind. You're explaining how you'll make kindness a lived experience.
I see. So, for my values of kindness, curiosity, and courage, I might say something like, my parenting philosophy is to nurture a home where kindness is the foundation, curiosity is encouraged through exploration, and courage is built by embracing challenges and learning from mistakes. How did I do?
That's fantastic, Lisa. You've taken those individual values and woven them into a statement that speaks to your parenting approach. You've shown you value kindness as a foundation. You want to foster curiosity through action, exploration, and you want to build courage by facing difficulties. This is your compass.
It feels so much more than just a list of words now. It feels like a mission statement for my family.
It absolutely is. And this is a mission statement that you can refer back to constantly. When you're faced with a challenging situation, like a disagreement between siblings or a tricky decision about screen time, you can ask yourself, what does my parenting philosophy say about this? Does the action you're considering align with fostering kindness? Does it encourage curiosity? Does it help build courage?
That's so helpful. Without this compass, I can imagine just defaulting to what seems easiest or what other people are doing.
Exactly. Your personal parenting philosophy acts as a filter. It helps you evaluate advice, media, and your own gut reactions based on what you've deliberately chosen to be important. It provides consistency, which children thrive on. They learn what to expect because your actions are rooted in a clear philosophy.
And I imagine this philosophy doesn't have to be a formal, lengthy document. It needs to be something that resonates with us first.
Absolutely. It should be concise, memorable, and meaningful to you. Think about some widely recognized guiding principles like those in other fields. They're often short and to the point, yet capture a vast amount of intention. Your philosophy could be a few sentences or even a short paragraph that you can easily recall and share.
So, for people who identified a lot of values last time, how do they hone that down? It felt like a really rich discovery.
That's where the art of synthesis comes in. Look for overlapping themes among your values. For instance, if you have values like respect, listening, and understanding, these might all fall under a broader theme of respectful communication. Then, consider which values are foundational and which are more like supporting pillars. Ask yourself, if I could only choose 3 core ideas to guide my parenting, what would they be?
That's a great way to prioritize. And then you connect those core values to the actions you'll take as a parent.
Precisely. It's that link between the abstract value and the concrete practice. So, if learning is a core value, your philosophy might include a commitment to creating opportunities for lifelong learning and exploration. This is much more actionable than just saying learning is important.
So, to recap for our listeners, we started by identifying our core values, the fundamental beliefs that guide us as parents. Now, we're taking those values and crafting a personal parenting philosophy. This philosophy is like a compass for our family, providing direction and consistency. It's a concise statement that reflects how we intend to live out our values, linking them to our actions and creating a clear approach to raising our children.
You've got it, Lisa. And remember those tools we talked about in the last episode? The journaling prompts, the value sort exercise, those are still relevant here. You can revisit them to refine your philosophy. Perhaps try writing out a few different versions. Read them aloud. See which one feels most authentic and inspiring.
It's about finding that statement that makes you say, yes, that's me. That's how I want to be a parent.
Exactly. And this is not a one-and-done exercise. As your children grow and as you evolve, your philosophy might adapt slightly, but the core principles will likely remain strong. But having this anchor, this compass, provides an incredible sense of purpose and clarity in the wonderful, sometimes chaotic journey of parenting.
It really does. It's the difference between drifting and sailing with intention.
Well said. Next episode, we'll be charting the course, turning this philosophy into a long-term vision for your family. Welcome back to Parent with Purpose. Last time, we dove deep into unearthing our core parenting values and then used those to craft our personal family philosophy. Now that we have that solid foundation, it's time to look ahead and chart a course for our family's future.
That's right, Alex. We've done the important work of understanding what truly matters to us as parents and what kind of family we want to be. Now, this episode is all about setting a long-term vision. It's like having a compass and a map for where we want our family journey to lead.
Exactly, Lisa. A long-term vision isn't just about the next school year or even high school graduation. It's about thinking about the legacy we want to create, the kind of adults we hope our children will become, and the unique family culture we aspire to build. It's about asking ourselves, what do we want our family story to look like in 5, 10, or even 20 years?
And this vision should be directly connected to those core values we identified, right? It's not just a wish list, but a tangible extension of what we decided is most important.
Precisely. If one of your core values is curiosity, your long-term vision might include fostering a lifelong love of learning in your children, encouraging exploration, and always seeking out new experiences together. It might mean prioritizing activities that spark wonder, whether it's visiting museums, exploring nature, or engaging in hands-on projects.
So, it's about imagining the experiences you want your children to have. For example, if kindness is a key value, a vision might be for our children to grow into adults who are compassionate, empathetic, and actively contribute positively to their communities.
Absolutely. And how do you cultivate that? It's through the experiences you create and the environment you build. Imagine a family that regularly volunteers together, practices active listening, and discusses the impact of their actions on others. That's a vision being lived out. This long-term vision acts as a filter for the daily decisions we make. When faced with a choice, we can ask, does this align with the future we're envisioning for our family?
That's a powerful way to think about it. It helps move us beyond just reacting to immediate challenges and instead proactively shaping the kind of family culture we want. What are some practical ways parents can start defining this vision?
One great way is to have a family conversation. Even if your children are very young, you can start planting these seeds. For older children, you can involve them more directly. Ask them, what are some things you'd love to do as a family? Or what do you think makes our family special? You can also individually reflect on questions like, what skills do I want my children to master? What character traits do I hope they develop? What kind of memories do I want us to create together?
So, it's a blend of parental aspiration and, as much as possible, incorporating the children's perspectives. It's about the kind of people we want them to become and the kind of learning and growth experiences we want to facilitate along the way.
Exactly. And this vision doesn't have to be a rigid document. It's more like a guiding star. It should be broad enough to allow for flexibility as your children grow and circumstances change, but specific enough to provide direction. For instance, a vision could be to raise children who are independent, resilient, and have a strong sense of self-worth.
That makes sense. It's about nurturing their inner strength, isn't it? And what about the family culture itself? How does the vision shape that?
The vision helps define the atmosphere of your home. Do you envision a home filled with laughter and shared stories? A place where open communication is the norm? Or perhaps a home that values creativity and self-expression? Your vision will dictate how you foster these aspects. You might prioritize regular family game nights, create dedicated spaces for creative pursuits, or establish traditions that encourage storytelling.
This is starting to feel very concrete. We're not just talking about parenting abstractly. We're actively designing the family environment and experiences that will help our children thrive. It's about intentionally creating the conditions for them to flourish based on our deepest values.
And remember, this long-term vision is the bridge between our values and our actions. In future episodes, we'll discuss how this vision directly informs practical tools like discipline and daily routines. For example, if your vision includes raising resilient children, your approach to discipline will likely focus on problem solving and learning from mistakes, rather than solely on punishment.
So, to recap, We've moved from identifying our core values to crafting our family philosophy, and now we're setting a long-term vision. This vision is a picture of the future we're working towards, deeply rooted in our values, and it guides the experiences we want our children to have, the character we hope they develop, and the culture we want to cultivate in our home.
That's a fantastic summary, Lisa. It's about intentionally building the family you dream of one brick at a time, with your values as the mortar and your vision as the blueprint.
This has been so insightful, Alex. It really empowers parents to think proactively about the kind of family they want to be.
And the exciting part is this vision will inform everything we do next. It will shape how we communicate, how we discipline, and how we structure our daily lives. Next episode, From Philosophy to Practice, Value-Based Discipline, the Foundation. Welcome back. Last time, we covered crafting your personal parenting philosophy. Now, let's put into practice through discipline.
Discipline can mean so many things. What if we approached it intentionally, tied to our core values?
Exactly. This is about shifting from discipline that just reacts to misbehavior to discipline that is proactive and value-based. Think of it as building a strong foundation for guiding children, not just reacting to stumbles.
So, instead of just saying no running inside because it's a rule, we explain why the rule exists and connect it to something bigger?
Precisely. Value-based discipline teaches principles that guide behavior, not just commands. It's rooted in your family's core values, the heart of your parenting philosophy. Those identified values become your guiding stars for discipline.
This sounds like a significant shift. How do we bridge philosophy and everyday behavior management?
It starts with understanding what value-based discipline isn't. It's not being permissive, nor is it solely about punishment aimed at making a child suffer. Instead, it's about teaching, guiding, and fostering understanding.
Teaching and guiding sounds more positive and collaborative.
Absolutely. When we discipline from our core values, our aim is to help children develop internal controls, understand the impact of their actions, and learn to make better choices. It's nurturing their character, not just controlling behavior. For example, if respect is a core family value, discipline around an act of disrespect would focus on teaching respectful communication.
So instead of, that was rude, you're grounded, it would be more like, we value respect, and that means speaking kindly. How could you have said that differently to your brother?
You've hit the nail on the head. You're not just stopping the behavior. You're explaining the underlying value and guiding them toward a more aligned action. This helps children internalize the lesson. They begin to understand why certain behaviors are important, not just that they are forbidden.
And that internal understanding is key to long-term change, helping them carry those values with them.
Precisely. This is about building responsibility. When children understand the why behind your guidance, they take ownership of their actions and learn from mistakes. It cultivates accountability that extends beyond obedience, fostering self-discipline.
So, value-based discipline teaches children how to be good people, not just how to behave a certain way.
That's a wonderful way to put it. It equips them with the inner compass to navigate life. Discipline transforms from a chore or conflict into an opportunity for growth and connection, strengthening the parent-child relationship through understanding and shared principles.
It sounds like the connection to our parenting philosophy is strong. If our philosophy nurtures creativity, discipline encourages exploration with safety boundaries. If our philosophy emphasizes resilience, discipline helps children learn to bounce back.
You've got it. Discipline strategies naturally flow from deeply held values. If kindness is a cornerstone, discipline focuses on teaching empathy, understanding others' feelings, and practicing conciliatory actions. It's restorative justice, not just punishment.
Restorative justice repairing harm rather than just assigning blame.
Exactly. When a child causes harm, the focus is on understanding the impact and finding ways to make amends, like apologizing, helping the person, or learning a skill to prevent recurrence. This teaches responsibility and compassion.
This is so much more empowering than reacting to every behavior with a quick fix. It's about seeing the deeper learning opportunity.
And that's the beauty of value-based discipline. It reframes challenging moments as teachable moments. It allows us to be intentional, respond with values, and guide children toward becoming the people we hope they will be. This is about consistent, value-driven guidance.
So, value based discipline moves us from reactive or punitive methods to teaching and guiding children, connecting behavior to family values. This fosters understanding, responsibility, and internal growth, rather than just compliance. It's about building character, rooted in our parenting philosophy.
Well said, Lisa. This foundation will be crucial as we explore specific strategies for cultivating empathy and resilience.
Looking forward to it.
Next episode, Kindness Counts, Cultivating Empathy and Connection Through Discipline. Welcome back to Parent with Purpose. Last time, we explored value-based discipline foundations. Now, we're focusing on kindness.
Kindness in discipline sounds simple, but it's challenging when we're frustrated. This episode is about making sure our approaches foster empathy and connection, not distance.
Exactly. Discipline can be an opportunity for connection and learning, not just punishment. Our goal is to raise well-adjusted, compassionate humans.
Yelling or shaming doesn't achieve that. It breeds fear and mistrust. How do we make kindness a practical part of discipline?
Kindness-based discipline means responding with understanding and a desire to teach, not just anger. See misbehavior as a signal for guidance. Take a deep breath before you speak to manage your emotions.
A pause button for our reactions. What after the deep breath?
Focus on connection. Understand why the behavior is happening. Is your child tired, hungry, or feeling ignored? Ask questions like, can you tell me what happened?
So, instead of you hit him, time out. Try, I see you're angry and hitting hurts. What was going on before? This shifts focus to feelings.
Precisely. That leads to empathy. Help children understand how their actions affect others. Guide them to consider the other person's feelings. I wanted that toy too, but taking it without asking made her sad. Next time I can ask nicely.
That builds empathy. It's about understanding impact on others, practicing the golden rule.
Absolutely. Use gentle guidance. Explain the why behind rules, connecting to family values. We don't snatch toys because we value respect and kindness.
And consequences should be logical and connected, not arbitrary punishment.
Exactly. Consequences should be related to the behavior and serve as learning. Messy play means cleaning up. Refusing to put away toys means losing the privilege for a short time. It's a natural outcome.
It teaches responsibility and repair, not just shame.
And positively reinforce good behavior. I saw how you shared your snack. That was incredibly kind. Specific praise reinforces desired actions.
A great reminder. We get caught up in negative behavior and forget to highlight the good. It's about guiding them away from unhelpful actions and towards helpful ones.
Precisely. It's being firm yet gentle. Set clear boundaries, but preserve dignity and strengthen relationships. Separate the child from the action. You are a good child who did a not-so-good thing.
I like that. So, to recap, cultivating empathy and connection in discipline involves managing our reactions with a pause, understanding the underlying why of a behavior, helping children develop empathy for others' feelings, using consequences that are logical and related to the misbehavior, and reinforcing positive actions with specific praise.
A perfect summary. These strategies require practice and patience. But by applying them, we shape character and build a stronger family bond. We teach them to navigate the world with kindness.
It's a profound gift and a journey. We'll have off days, but consistent effort matters.
That effort creates a ripple effect. Let's commit to making kindness count in our discipline.
Absolutely.
Next episode, we'll explore building resilience in our children. Welcome back. Last time, we explored kindness and discipline. Now, let's build resilience.
That's such an important topic, Alex. Life throws curveballs at every age, and equipping our kids with the tools to handle them isn't just helpful, it's essential. So, when we talk about resilience through discipline, what does that actually look like in practice?
Great question, Lisa. Resilience isn't about shielding children from difficulty. It's about teaching them how to navigate it. Value-based discipline plays a huge role here. Instead of just focusing on stopping a behavior, we're guiding children to understand that setbacks are opportunities for growth. We want them to see challenges not as insurmountable obstacles, but as chances to learn, adapt, and become stronger.
So, it's about reframing those tough moments. How can parents actively do that during discipline?
One powerful strategy is to help children identify and manage their emotions. When a child is upset, frustrated, or disappointed, our first instinct might be to fix it immediately. But resilience is built by experiencing those feelings and learning to work through them. So, during a discipline moment, we can encourage them to name their feelings. We might say, I see you're feeling really frustrated right now because your tower fell down. It's okay to feel frustrated.
So validating their feelings first. That makes so much sense. It's like acknowledging the storm before helping them find shelter.
Exactly. And then we can guide them towards problem solving. Once emotions are somewhat managed, we can ask, what can you do next time to make your tower more stable? Or what could help you feel a little better right now? This shifts the focus from the problem to the solution, empowering them to take action. This process helps children develop self-regulation, the ability to manage their emotions and behaviors, which is a cornerstone of resilience.
Self-regulation. That's a key concept. So instead of just saying, stop crying, we're saying, let's acknowledge that feeling and then think about what we can do.
Precisely. Another vital aspect is fostering a growth mindset. This means teaching children that their abilities and intelligence can grow through dedication and hard work. When a child struggles with something, a growth mindset parent might say, this is challenging, but you're getting better at it with practice. In a discipline context, if a child makes a mistake, instead of labeling them as bad, we point out the behavior and focus on learning. For example, making that choice led to a difficult outcome. What do we learn from this so we can try a different approach next time?
That's a powerful way to look at it. It separates the child from their actions and emphasizes progress over perfection. What about those bigger setbacks, Alex? The moments where a child experiences real disappointment, like not getting picked for a team or failing a test.
Those are critical opportunities. When a child faces a significant setback, it's important to be present, offer comfort, and then gently guide them towards what linguist Carol Dweck calls the power of yet. You might say, you didn't get the part in the play this time. That's disappointing, isn't it? But remember, you tried your best, and you'll have more opportunities. You haven't mastered this yet.
The power of yet. I love that. It implies there's always a future possibility and that current circumstances aren't permanent.
Absolutely. It keeps hope alive and encourages continued effort. For parents, this means being a steady presence. It's about consistent, predictable love and support, even when you're delivering consequences. This secure attachment provides a safe harbor from which children can explore, take risks, and learn to overcome adversity. Think of it like a strong rope holding them as they climb a difficult mountain.
A strong rope. That's a beautiful analogy, Alex. So, to recap, building resilience through discipline involves first, helping children identify and manage their emotions. Second, fostering a growth mindset by focusing on effort and learning. And third, offering consistent support during setbacks, perhaps using that encouraging phrase, the power of yet.
You got it, Lisa. And another key strategy is teaching perseverance. This means encouraging children to stick with tasks, even when they become difficult or boring. In our value-based framework, this could look like breaking down larger tasks into smaller, more manageable steps. If a child is struggling with homework, instead of letting them give up, we might help them focus on just the first 5 problems. Celebrating small wins along the way can be incredibly motivating.
Breaking down tasks. That's so practical for kids who get overwhelmed easily. It makes the impossible feel achievable.
Precisely. And it's also important to model resilience ourselves. Our children are always watching. When we face challenges, talking through our own feelings and how we're working to overcome them can be a powerful lesson. For instance, if you burn dinner, instead of a dramatic outburst, you might say, with a calm demeanor, "Oh dear, dinner's a bit scorched. That's frustrating, but it happens. Let's see what we can salvage, and I'll plan a quick dessert."
Modeling that positive coping and problem solving in real time. That's such a valuable lesson because it shows them it's okay to not be perfect, but it's important to keep moving forward.
Indeed. And finally, let's talk about encouraging self-advocacy. As children grow, we want them to be able to express their needs and concerns respectfully. This is a vital skill for navigating future challenges. In a discipline context, this might mean teaching a child how to express a grievance appropriately, rather than resorting to yelling or complaining. For instance, if a sibling takes their toy unfairly, we might coach them to say, "I felt upset when you took my toy without asking. Can I please have it back?"
Teaching them to use their words to stand up for themselves, but in a constructive way. That's powerful. It equips them for social situations and beyond.
It truly is. So, to sum up our discussion on building resilience through discipline, we've covered validating and managing emotions, cultivating a growth mindset, framing setbacks with the power of yet, breaking down tasks to foster perseverance, modeling resilience ourselves, and encouraging self-advocacy. These strategies, woven into our value-based discipline, help children develop an inner strength that will serve them throughout their lives.
It's about raising children who can not only weather the storms but also learn and grow from them. Thank you, Alex, for these insightful strategies.
My pleasure, Lisa. Next episode, we'll explore how to effectively communicate our core family values to our children, making sure they truly understand what matters most to us. Welcome back. Last time, we explored building resilience in children. Today, let's talk about communicating our values effectively.
We've discussed identifying our values and crafting our family philosophy. Now, how do we share this with our kids? It's like having a treasure map they can't read without us.
It's about the power of why. When we explain the reasons behind our rules, connecting them to our deeper values, it transforms discipline into a framework for understanding.
This communication needs to be age appropriate. For toddlers and preschoolers, it's about concrete examples and simple connections.
For example, with kindness, instead of just saying be kind, say, when you share your toy, you're being kind. Sharing makes others feel happy, and it makes you feel good inside because we want to be good friends.
That makes the abstract tangible for them. For a young child, the why is a simple, observable cause and effect tied to a positive feeling.
Exactly. As they enter elementary school, we can use slightly more complex reasoning. For value of responsibility, the why behind tidying toys becomes, when you tidy up, you are being responsible. It shows you respect our home and can take care of your belongings. This responsibility will help you in school and later in life.
So, we connect the action to the value and hint at broader implications for their personal growth. It's like planting seeds for future understanding.
For teenagers, richer conversations are possible. If your family value is honesty and your teen hasn't finished homework but wants to go out, discuss the importance of honesty in building trust.
Talk about how trust is fundamental to your relationship, their friendships, and their future. Explore the consequences of dishonesty, not just in punishment, but in damaged relationships.
You might say, I value honesty, and it's a foundational family value. When you're honest, I could trust you, and that allows more freedom. If that trust breaks, it takes a long time to rebuild and impacts future opportunities. What do you think about this? You're inviting them into the reasoning.
This connects back to our long-term vision. Communicating values shapes the kind of person they will become and equips them with a moral compass.
Our goal is to move beyond obedience to foster genuine understanding and internal motivation. When children understand why something is important, they're more likely to internalize it and act on it independently. It becomes their why.
To recap, communicate values by tailoring messages to age. For younger children, use concrete examples and simple cause and effect. For older children and teens, engage in deeper conversations about reasoning, consequences, and the broader impact of those values.
Be consistent. Our actions are powerful teachers. When children see us living the values we preach, our words carry more weight. It's a continuous dialogue.
Absolutely. Weave values into everyday life, conversations, reactions, and expectations. This consistent communication builds understanding and shapes character.
Think about one value important to your family this week. How can you discuss the why behind it with your child at their level? It might surprise you. Next episode, we'll explore creating a shared family mission statement. Welcome back to Parenting with Purpose. Last time, we explored the powerful why behind our parenting decisions and how to effectively communicate our deeply held values to our children.
That was so insightful, Alex. Understanding how to articulate our values is crucial for guiding our kids. But now we're really diving into something special. We're moving from individual values to what makes our family us.
Exactly, Lisa. And that's where we're heading in this episode. More than rules, creating a shared family mission. We're going to talk about how to build a collective family identity, a shared sense of purpose that goes beyond just following household rules.
A shared family mission. That sounds like a really powerful concept. For listeners who might be picturing something complicated, can you break down what a family mission statement is?
Absolutely. Think of a family mission statement as the heart and soul of your family written down. It's not a legal document, and it's not a long list of rules to follow. Instead, it's a declaration of your family's core purpose, what you stand for, and what you collectively aim to achieve and be. It's your family's reason for being, brought together into a unified statement.
So, it's about capturing the essence of your family, your shared dreams, your fundamental beliefs, and the kind of impact you want to have, both within your home and in the world. It gives everyone a common direction.
Precisely. And the beauty of it is that it's created together. This isn't something one parent dictates. It's a collaborative process that ensures everyone feels heard and valued. So, how do we actually go about creating this shared mission?
That's the practical part. I imagine it starts with reflection, similar to how we identified our individual values, but now with the whole family involved.
You're spot on. The first step is fostering a family conversation. Set aside dedicated time, maybe during a family dinner or a specific evening, where everyone can relax and share their thoughts. The goal is to create a safe space for open communication.
And what kind of questions should we be asking during these conversations to get everyone thinking about our family's purpose?
Great question. We can start with broad strokes. Ask questions like, what do we love most about being a family? Or what are the things we want to be known for as a family? Also, a crucial one is, what kind of impact do we want to have on each other and on the world around us?
Those are great starting points. They encourage positive reflection and future oriented thinking. I can see how that would naturally lead to identifying shared aspirations.
It does. You'll start noticing common themes emerge. Perhaps it's a shared love for learning, a commitment to kindness, a passion for helping others, or a desire to explore and experience new things. Write these ideas down as they come up. No idea is too small or too silly at this stage.
Okay, so we're gathering these collective aspirations. What's the next step after we have a collection of ideas?
Now, we move towards refining them into a concise statement. This is where the magic of synthesis happens. Look at all the ideas you've gathered and identify the core elements that truly represent your family. What are the consistent threads running through everyone's contributions?
It's like finding the common vocabulary of your family's heart. And how do we keep it simple enough to remember, but meaningful enough to inspire?
That's the art of it. Aim for clarity and brevity. Your family mission statement should ideally be something you can easily recite and understand. Think about using action-oriented words. It should be inspiring and aspirational, but also grounded in your family's real life. For instance, instead of saying, we want to be good people, you might say we strive to show kindness and understanding in all our interactions.
That makes it much more concrete. So, the mission statement becomes a guiding star, a shared anchor. How do we ensure this statement doesn't just end up on a piece of paper gathering dust?
The implementation. This is perhaps the most important part. Once you have a draft, share it with the family. Read it aloud. Discuss it. Get feedback. Make sure everyone feels a sense of ownership. Then, display it somewhere visible, on the refrigerator, in a common family area.
So, it's a constant, gentle reminder of what your family stands for. And how does this mission statement then influence your day-to-day parenting and family life?
It influences everything. When you're faced with a decision, big or small, you can ask, does this align with our family mission? When conflicts arise, you can refer back to your mission statement. It provides a framework for decision-making and conflict resolution. For example, if your mission is about exploring and learning, that might guide your weekend activity choices or even your approach to family travel.
It sounds like it transforms parenting from a series of reactive moments into a more proactive, purpose-driven journey. It makes the why we talked about last time a shared commitment.
Exactly. It creates a sense of unity. When children understand and believe in their family's mission, they feel more connected to their family members and more invested in shared goals. It fosters a sense of belonging and shared identity. They aren't just following rules, they're contributing to something larger than themselves.
And this mission statement, does it need to be set in stone forever? Families grow and change, after all.
That's a very important point, Lisa. Families evolve, and so should your mission statement. It's a living document. As your children grow, as circumstances change, revisit your mission statement periodically, perhaps annually or whenever you feel your family is at a significant turning point. You might find that certain aspects need tweaking or re-emphasis.
So, it's a dynamic guide, not a rigid decree. This is so helpful, Alex. We've talked about identifying individual values, articulating them, and now creating a shared family mission. It's a beautiful progression.
It truly is. Creating a shared family mission is about building a foundational document for your family's journey. It's the collective expression of your most cherished beliefs and aspirations. It provides direction, fosters unity, and helps every family member understand their role in the family's ongoing story.
So, to recap, we've learned that a family mission statement is a collaborative declaration of purpose. It's crafted through open family discussions answering questions about what you love and want to be known for, and it should be concise, visible, and revisited as your family evolves.
That's a perfect summary, Lisa. This shared mission becomes more than just a set of rules. It becomes the very fabric of your family life, weaving everyone together with a common purpose.
And next time, we'll explore how to weave these values and this mission into the very fabric of your daily routines.
Perfect. So, for this episode, our call to action is to start those family conversations, to begin dreaming together about your unique family mission.
Indeed, it's a truly rewarding process.
Next episode, the fabric of family life, weaving values into daily routines. Welcome back. Last time we covered creating a shared family mission. Now let's weave values into daily routines.
It's so true, Alex. We've spent time identifying our values, crafting a philosophy, and even setting a family mission. But how do we make sure those big ideas actually show up in the day-to-day? That's what we're tackling today, bridging that gap between our aspirations and reality.
Exactly, Lisa. Think about it. Life isn't just big events. It's made up of countless small moments. And it's within these small moments that our values can either be reinforced or quietly undermined. Our goal is to make those small moments count, to deliberately infuse them with purpose.
So, we're not talking about overhauling everything. It's more about looking at the routines we already have and finding opportunities to connect them to what we believe is most important.
Precisely. Let's start with the morning. What does a value-driven morning look like? For many families, mornings can be a rush. But what if we intentionally built in a moment of connection? Perhaps a shared breakfast where we talk about our day, or a quick high five that expresses encouragement.
I like that. It doesn't have to be a long conversation. It's about the intention. If one of our values is connection or kindness, then consciously offering a warm greeting or a moment of eye contact as you see your child can be a powerful way to express that value.
Absolutely. And this applies to meal times too. Eating together is a fundamental family routine. How can we elevate that? We can make it a time to practice gratitude, sharing things we're thankful for, reinforcing a value of appreciation. Or we can use it as a teachable moment, discussing how to have healthy conversations, practicing our value of respectful communication.
That's a great point. Mealtimes can easily become just about the food, or worse, a battleground for picky eating. But they're prime real estate for instilling values. So rather than just saying, eat your vegetables, you might say, remember how we value taking care of our bodies? Eating these helps us do that.
You're hitting on a key aspect, Lisa, connecting the action to the value. It's not just doing something, it's understanding or at least acknowledging why we're doing it through the lens of our values. This helps children internalize them.
And this can extend to chore time, right? Often chores are just seen as tasks to get done. But if we frame them as contributing to the family, as our part in keeping our shared home running smoothly, doesn't that tie into values like responsibility or teamwork?
It absolutely does. If a value is responsibility, then assigning age-appropriate chores and expecting them to be done fosters that value. If teamwork is key, then perhaps family members can work together on a larger task, learning to support each other. It makes chores a tangible expression of belonging and contribution.
So, we're essentially creating micro moments of value reinforcement throughout the day. What about less structured times, like playtime or evenings?
Those are crucial too. Playtime is where children naturally explore and learn. If curiosity is a value, encourage their questions, let them experiment, and join in their imaginative worlds. If creativity is a value, provide materials and space for them to express themselves.
And bedtime. That's often one of the last, quiet moments you have with your child.
Bedtime stories are a classic for a reason. You can choose books that subtly or overtly explore your family's values. Stories about courage, honesty, or perseverance. Even the act of reading together, that quiet shared time, reinforces the value of connection. A simple "I love you" before sleep is a direct expression of love, a foundational value for most families.
It feels like we're talking about transforming the mundane into the meaningful. It's about being intentional with the routines we already have, rather than adding a whole list of new things to do.
That's a perfect summary, Lisa. It's about weaving. You're not creating a new tapestry. You're weaving new, purposeful threads into the fabric of your existing family life. Small, consistent actions build a strong foundation.
So, to recap for our listeners, we can start by examining our daily routines: mornings, mealtimes, chores, playtime, and bedtime. For each, we can ask ourselves, how can this moment actively express one of our family's core values?
And remember, it's not about perfection. It's about consistent effort. Some days will be easier than others. The point is to have the intention and to keep returning to it. By weaving your values into the fabric of your family life, you're creating a consistent, positive environment where those values can truly flourish.
It really does make the everyday feel more purposeful. We've gone from identifying values to making them a living, breathing part of our family culture.
Next episode, we'll build on this by looking at how to celebrate what truly matters and create those meaningful family traditions that further cement your values. Welcome back, everyone, to Parent with Purpose. Today, we're focusing on something truly special, building meaningful family traditions.
Traditions. I love this topic, Alex. It feels like the heart of what makes a family feel like a family, doesn't it?
Absolutely, Lisa. Traditions are more than just activities. They're the tangible expressions of our deepest family values. They're the moments that create lasting memories and weave a strong sense of belonging.
That's a great way to put it. So, if integrating values into our daily routines was episode 10, this episode is about those specific, repeatable events that really stand out.
Exactly. While daily routines are the consistent hum of family life, traditions are the memorable melodies. They're the anchors that help us feel connected, not just to each other, but to our past and our future. They help children understand what's important to us.
And I imagine they can be powerful tools for reinforcing those values we've been talking about. If we value kindness, a tradition that celebrates acts of service could really drive that home.
Precisely. So, how do we go about creating these meaningful traditions? The first step is to connect them back to your core family values. What are the principles that matter most to your family? Is it gratitude, creativity, adventure, connection?
So, we're not just picking a tradition because it's popular, but rather asking, does this tradition align with what we believe in as a family?
That's the core of it. For example, if connection is a high value, a tradition of having a family game night every Friday, where everyone puts their phones away, directly serves that value. It's not just playing games, it's about dedicated, uninterrupted time together,
I can see how that makes it feel more significant. It gives it purpose beyond just the activity itself.
right? And traditions don't have to be elaborate or expensive. Sometimes the simplest traditions are the most profound. Think about a thankful jar where everyone writes down something they're grateful for each week. It's easy to implement, but it constantly reinforces the value of gratitude.
Or a family walk in nature every Sunday afternoon to appreciate the outdoors and de stress from the week. That speaks to health and connection.
Perfect examples. Now, what if you already have traditions, but they feel a bit stale? Or maybe they were handed down to you, but don't quite resonate with your family's current values.
That's a common situation. It can feel a bit like going through the motions.
The key here is evolution. Traditions can and should evolve. You can adapt existing traditions to better reflect your family's current needs and values. Ask yourselves, What aspects of this tradition do we love? What's not working? How can we tweak it?
So, it's okay to let go of parts that don't fit anymore or to inject new elements. This feels liberating, actually.
Absolutely. Consider a family Thanksgiving. Perhaps the original tradition was a very formal meal. Now, maybe your family values more casual connection. You could shift to a potluck where everyone brings a dish that represents their heritage or start a family talent show after dinner. It keeps the spirit of gathering and gratitude, but adapts it.
That makes traditions feel more alive and relevant. It's not about rigid adherence, but about embodying the spirit.
Exactly. And when you're creating new traditions or adapting old ones, involve your children. Ask them for their ideas. This not only makes them feel heard and invested, but also helps them understand the why behind the tradition.
That's important because it's not just about imposing things on them, but about creating shared experiences that they help shape. This naturally leads to a stronger sense of ownership and attachment to those traditions.
Indeed. And remember, traditions create continuity. They provide a sense of predictability and stability in a world that can often feel chaotic. For children, knowing that every Tuesday is pizza night or our birthday tradition is always a trip to the ice cream shop offers comfort and security.
It's like a warm hug from the family history, isn't it? A reminder that no matter what's going on, certain things remain constant.
Well said. So, to recap this important discussion on traditions, they are tangible expressions of your family values. They create connection, belonging, and continuity. When creating or adapting traditions, always link them back to your core values.
And don't forget to involve your children in the process and allow traditions to evolve over time to stay meaningful.
Precisely. Traditions are the building blocks of cherished family memories. They help tell the story of who your family is and what you stand for. They are quite literally how you celebrate what matters.
This has been so insightful, Alex. It makes me want to revisit some of our own family traditions and see how we can strengthen them.
That's the goal. These meaningful moments are gifts you give to your children that will resonate for a lifetime.
Next episode, we'll explore how to adapt your values as your family evolves.
Thanks for listening. Welcome back. Last time we covered building meaningful family traditions. Now let's tackle adapting your values as your family evolves.
Exactly, Alex. It feels like just yesterday we were talking about establishing our core parenting values in those early episodes. Now we're looking at how those values need to flex and evolve. It's not about abandoning who we are as parents, but about refining our approach.
Precisely. Think about it. The needs of a toddler are vastly different from those of a teenager, right? Our core values might remain the same, like love, respect, or responsibility, but how we express and implement those values will need to change. For instance, discipline designed for a preschooler might not land the same way with a preteen.
That makes so much sense. So, how do we actually do that? How do we know when and how to adapt without losing sight of our foundational beliefs? It seems like a delicate balance.
It is indeed, Lisa. The key is to revisit your why. Remember episode 1, where we talked about finding that anchor in the storm? That anchor is your deep-seated values. Even as the boat rocks and the waves change, the anchor holds firm. Our parenting philosophy acts like a compass, guiding us. When the landscape changes, we don't throw away the compass. We use it to reorient ourselves.
So, the philosophy and the vision we crafted earlier are still our guiding lights. We're just adjusting the sails, not changing our destination.
Exactly. One of the most effective ways to adapt is through mindful reflection. Regularly check in with yourself. Ask, is my current approach still serving my family and aligning with my core values? This isn't about self-criticism, but about conscious parenting. Do you remember when we discussed setting a long-term vision in episode 4? That vision needs to be flexible enough to incorporate the stages your children will go through.
Regular reflection. That sounds like a practice we can all incorporate. Perhaps journaling or even just dedicated quiet time to think. What are some specific areas where parents might need to adapt their approach?
Discipline is a huge one, as we've touched on. What works for a young child, maybe a simple timeout or redirection, won't be as effective for a teenager dealing with complex social issues or academic pressures. For older children, discipline often shifts towards more conversation, guiding them to understand consequences and fostering their decision-making skills. We need to transition from simply enforcing rules to teaching them how to navigate their own moral compass.
That shift from enforcing to teaching is a crucial distinction. It requires a lot more trust and patience as they learn to manage themselves. It also means we need to be open to new communication strategies, right?
Absolutely. Communication is paramount, and it needs to evolve. In episode 8, we talked about the power of why, explaining the reasoning behind your values. As children mature, the why becomes more sophisticated. They can grasp abstract concepts, understand consequences on a deeper level, and engage in nuanced discussions. Our conversations need to keep pace with their cognitive and emotional development.
So, a teenager might not just accept because I said so anymore. They're ready for a more reasoned, collaborative approach to understanding our family's principles.
Precisely. And it's not just about discipline and communication. It's about almost every aspect of family life. Think about daily routines, which we covered in episode 10. The morning rush with a kindergartner is different from the morning routine with a high schooler who might be driving themselves or managing their own schedule. We need to be willing to restructure those routines to support their growing independence and responsibilities.
And traditions, too. Episode 11 touched on building meaningful family traditions. Those traditions might need to change as family members get older or even as new people join the family. What they enjoyed as young children might need an update for their teenage years.
Exactly. It's about reimagining those traditions. For example, a family movie night might evolve into a family discussion about a film or a book, or a simple game night might become a more competitive, structured tournament. The core value of connection remains, but the activity itself adapts. We need to ask ourselves, is this tradition still fostering the connection and shared experience we desire?
This brings up an important point: actively involving our children in these adaptations. If we're making changes to routines or traditions, their input can be incredibly valuable. It fosters a sense of ownership and respect.
A brilliant point, Lisa. Involving them is key. It reinforces the idea that they are active participants in the family unit. This also ties back to your role in creating that shared family mission we discussed in episode 9. That mission statement itself might need reevaluation over time. Is it still relevant? Does it reflect the current stage of your family? It's a living document in a way.
It's almost like a continuous feedback loop. We establish our values, we build our philosophy and vision, we implement them through routines and traditions, and then we periodically review and adjust based on the growth and changing needs of our children and our family as a whole.
That's a perfect summary, Lisa. It's about remaining anchored to your core values while being flexible in your approach. It requires wisdom, observation, and a willingness to learn and grow alongside your children. When we talk about adapting, it's not about letting go of control, but about shifting from a directive leadership style to a more collaborative, guiding one as our children mature into more capable individuals.
And this adaptability also helps us ourselves grow as parents, doesn't it? We're constantly learning and refining our own understanding of what it means to parent effectively and lovingly through different life stages.
Absolutely. It's a journey of continuous learning for both parent and child. As we look toward the concluding episodes of our series, this theme of ongoing adaptation becomes even more critical. Parenting with purpose isn't a static destination. It's a dynamic process. It's about consistently returning to your core values and wisely adjusting your sails to navigate the ever-changing seas of family life.
So, to recap, adapting our parenting values as our family evolves involves revisiting our core beliefs, reflecting on our current practices, adjusting our discipline and communication strategies, and being open to evolving our routines and traditions. It's about staying true to our anchor while skillfully navigating the changing currents.
Precisely. And in our next episode, we'll start to synthesize everything we've learned as we build your purpose-driven parenting toolkit, consolidating your entire journey. Next episode, your purposeful parenting toolkit, consolidating your journey. Welcome back. Our last conversation focused on adapting values as families evolve. Now let's tie it all together.
It really has been a journey, Alex. We've covered so much, from uncovering our core values to weaving them into our everyday lives. Last time, we talked about how families are always changing and how we need to adapt our values as our children grow and circumstances shift. That idea of adaptability is so crucial.
Absolutely, Lisa. And that brings us perfectly to today's topic. Parenting with purpose isn't a destination you reach and then stop. It's an ongoing, dynamic process. It's a lifelong journey. The tools and insights we've explored, identifying those core values, crafting a family philosophy, setting a vision, and implementing value-based discipline, they aren't just one-time tasks. They're the ongoing practices that sustain a purposeful parenting approach.
So, it's less about having a perfect plan and more about having a consistent framework that we can return to, even when things get messy. Like having a compass that always points us toward what truly matters.
Exactly. Think of your core values as that compass. They're your North Star. When you're faced with a difficult decision, a challenging behavior, or simply the everyday chaos of family life, you can turn to your values. Ask yourself, does this action, this decision, this response align with who we want to be as a family? Does it reflect the qualities we cherish, like kindness, respect, or integrity?
That makes so much sense. It's like having a built-in filter for all the noise and distractions. Instead of reacting impulsively, we can pause and reconnect with our deeper why. And you've taught us how to discover those whys in the first place, from identifying our non-negotiables to understanding our children's unique needs and strengths as they evolve.
That's right. We covered Unearthing Your Core Values in episode 2. That was a deep dive into what truly matters to you as an individual and as a parent. And then in episode 3, we talked about crafting your personal parenting philosophy. That philosophy is like the blueprint, and your values are the foundation. It's what guides your decisions, from the small ones, like what to have for dinner, to the big ones, like how to handle a conflict.
And it's not just about us as parents, is it? We learn to communicate these values to our children, helping them understand the reasoning behind our rules and expectations. It's about building that shared understanding, that common language of what's important in our family.
Precisely. Remember episode 8, The Power of Why? Explaining the why behind our parenting choices is so powerful for children. It moves beyond simple obedience and fosters genuine understanding and internalization of values. It helps them develop their own internal compass. And when we discussed creating a shared family mission in episode 9, that was all about solidifying that collective purpose.
That episode really stuck with me. The idea of actively creating a mission statement for our family, not just letting it happen by default. It gives everyone a sense of belonging and shared direction. And all of this, the values, the philosophy, the mission, it's all woven into the fabric of daily life through routines and traditions that we talked about in episodes 10 and 11.
Yes, the everyday moments are where values truly live. It's in a morning rush, the evening wind down, the weekend activities. It's in how we greet each other, how we resolve disagreements, how we celebrate successes and learn from failures. And traditions, whether big or small, they create those powerful memory anchors that reinforce what we hold dear. They become the stories we tell about who we are as a family.
It's really about intentionality, isn't it? Parenting with purpose means being intentional about the kind of environment we're creating, the kind of humans we're helping to shape, and the kind of relationships we're nurturing. It's a constant, gentle steering.
A constant, gentle steering. I love that. And it's not just about the impact on our children. This journey of value-driven parenting profoundly impacts us as parents, too. When our actions are aligned with our deepest values, we experience less internal conflict and more peace. We feel more confident and less overwhelmed. It brings a sense of fulfillment and authenticity to our parenting.
It's a feedback loop, then. When we parent with purpose, we feel better, and that positive feeling allows us to parent even more purposefully. It's a virtuous cycle. And even though we've spent these episodes exploring this, it feels like we're just scratching the surface of what's possible.
That's the beauty of it being a lifelong journey. There's always room to grow, to learn, to refine. Our families change, we change, the world changes. And as we adapt, our commitment to our core values provides that consistent anchor. It's in those moments of challenge, of growth, of transition, that a value-based approach shows its true strength. It's not about striving for perfection, but for progress, for presence, and for peace.
So, to recap for our listeners, parenting with purpose is about consistently aligning your actions with your deepest values. It's a dynamic, ongoing process that involves identifying your values, creating a family philosophy, communicating your why, weaving values into daily routines and traditions, and always being willing to adapt. And the wonderful outcome is not only stronger, more resilient children, but also more fulfilled and peaceful parents.
Exactly. It's a journey that enriches every member of the family. And as we wrap up this episode, remember that the journey doesn't end here. It continues with every sunrise, every conversation, every shared meal.
Thank you, Alex. And thank you to all our listeners for joining us on this incredible series.
Thanks for listening. Welcome back. This is our 14th and final episode.
It's been an incredible journey, Alex. We've gone from digging deep to find our core values, all the way to weaving them into our daily lives. So, for our final episode, let's consolidate our learning and empower our listeners with their personal toolkit.
Absolutely, Lisa. Think of this episode as a really thorough review and a practical guide to keep moving forward. Over the past 13 episodes, we've built a strong foundation. Remember our first episode? We talked about how important it is to have that anchor in the storm. That's your deep values. They guide you when parenting gets tough.
Right? The anchor in the storm. And in our second episode, we gave you the tools to actually unearth those core values. It's not always obvious what truly matters to us, so we explored practical ways to identify them, like journaling or reflecting on moments that really energize or drain us as parents.
Exactly. Once we knew our values, our third episode was about crafting your personal parenting philosophy. This is like the compass for your family, guiding your decisions and shaping your family's culture. It's your unique statement of how you want to parent.
And that philosophy isn't just for today. Episode 4 helped us chart a long-term vision. We learned to think about where we want our children to be, not just next week, but years down the line, and how our values help us get there.
That's the big picture. Then we got practical with discipline. Episode 5 laid the foundation for value-based discipline, showing us how to discipline not just to correct behavior, but to teach and guide in line with our core beliefs.
Kindness and empathy were central to that, weren't they? Episode 6 focused on cultivating those qualities through discipline. It's about connecting with our children and helping them understand their own emotions and the emotions of others.
And building resilience. Episode 7 explored discipline strategies for developing that inner strength in our kids. We want them to bounce back from challenges, and our values play a huge role in how we support that development.
Then we shifted to communication. Episode 8 was all about the power of why, how to talk to our children about our values. It's not just about setting rules, but helping them understand the reasoning behind them.
Which leads perfectly into episode 9, creating a shared family mission. It's about building something bigger than ourselves as a family, a collective purpose that everyone can contribute to.
And how do we make that mission a daily reality? That's where episode 10 came in, focusing on weaving our values into daily routines. Those consistent, everyday actions are where values truly come alive.
Absolutely. And traditions are such a powerful way to celebrate what matters. Episode 11 helped us build meaningful family traditions that reinforce our values and create lasting memories.
Life is always changing, though. Episode 12 was so important for addressing how we navigate those changes and adapt our values as our family evolves. Our children grow, circumstances shift, and our parenting needs to flex.
And that brings us to episode 13, where we reflected on parenting with purpose as a lifelong journey. It's not a destination, but a continuous path of intention and growth.
So, today is about pulling it all together. Your purposeful parenting toolkit isn't a physical box, it's the understanding and the practices we've developed. It's the ability to, first, identify your non negotiable values. Those are your bedrock. Second, articulate your personal parenting philosophy, your guiding principles. Third, set a clear vision for your family, the direction you're heading. Fourth, implement value-based discipline that teaches and connects. Fifth, communicate your values effectively with your children. Sixth, create a shared family mission and weave it into daily routines and traditions. And finally, remember that this is an ongoing, adaptive process.
Think of it like this: your values are the foundation. Your philosophy and vision are the blueprint and the map. Discipline, communication, routines, and traditions are the building materials and the daily construction work. And adaptability is the ongoing maintenance and renovations needed to keep the structure strong and relevant.
It's all interconnected. When you're faced with a challenge, you can go back to your values. If you're struggling with a discipline issue, consider how it aligns with your philosophy. If your family feels disconnected, look at your routines and traditions. This toolkit empowers you to be intentional at every step.
And the most important part of this toolkit is ongoing reflection. Schedule time, even just 10 minutes a week, to check in. Are your actions aligning with your values? Are your children understanding the why behind things? Is your family mission still resonating?
It's about being mindful and making conscious choices, rather than just reacting. This series has provided the framework, but the real magic happens when you apply it consistently. Don't aim for perfection. Aim for progress and connection.
That's a perfect way to put it, Lisa. You've equipped yourselves with the knowledge and the strategies. Now, go out there and continue to parent with purpose. Remember the anchor, use your compass, and keep charting that course with intention.
We've thoroughly enjoyed guiding you on this journey. The goal is a more connected, intentional, and values-driven family life. We hope you have your own personalized toolkit now, ready to be used every single day.
Thanks for listening to the series.